Welcome back to jail. Devils don't exist. Arc 1. The Fall of Greyhaze.
Torrential rain patters off of red brick slate roofs and drips down expertly crafted miniature aqueducts into a series of sewer openings and grates that line the entirety of the town. This is a region of the world that has known nothing but the fall of rain for the past 1,000 years, due to some weakness or breaking in the barrier between the material plane and the elemental plane of water. As such, its skies are always dark with clouds, and rain is an ever-present factor of life here in Greyhaze. Because of this, the people of Greyhaze have had to adapt. The most obvious change that you can see is amongst the townsfolk. There are, as one would expect in this mountainous region so close to the spine of the Balgardian continent, many Goliaths mixed in with the human population. Giant kin who have moved down from their mountain homes in search of spaces free from the larger giants that call the spine home. Other than that, however, the most dominant population here in the town are Genasi, water genasi, people who have in some way been infused with the natural elemental magic that seeps into this land and have been born with its gifts, naturally acclimatized to the water and able to endure it far better than the other residents here within this large town. The next is architecturally. There is not a single town square nor courtyard that is not in some way or decorated with a type of water fountain. Only the fountains appear to work in reverse. Great statuesque structures that bloom upwards like flowers, gathering rain and funneling them down almost like marbles, down chutes of stone tracks into either subterranean tunnels beneath the street or into little runways that lead into the large flowing river that takes up the center of town. Your two retinues have entered through a portion of the town known as Slumber Walk. It is perhaps not the most affluent area of the town. Most of the buildings here are short and squat. They can scarcely look over the top of the town walls and thus are bathed kind of eternally in a dismal shade and wet darkness. The people here tend to what small farm animals they have and are permitted within inside the walls, mostly chickens and cows. But there isn't much else here to speak of. There are no big shops, no merchants or anything like that. Just humble working class people trying to make a living. In the dead center of Greyhaze, you find the Knuckles, a region in the middle district of the town that is kind of immediately present for its slate grey buildings, all clumped very closely together. A few apple trees blossom out of the various courtyards here, but it is almost ghetto-esque here, with all the buildings crammed in and near one another. That being said, there are many shops here, but I think the thing that catches catches Nephilim's eyes the most.
It's
here.
one and the same.
One and the same. I think the feature that catches Nephilim's eyes the most here is that there appear to be temples. You've come here in search of a temple, and you find very small, very quaint temples to the Moronites, easily identified by the small grey domed ceilings. They're probably not more than a story tall, really more like, compared to like the churches and grandness of the Oculum Sanctorum, these are hovels, small temples and shrines that have an open doorway that stands open at all hours of the day, pillars out front, a bit of a stone balcony, and the only thing that would identify them as a temple are the markings of usually wrought on stone shields over these entrance archways depicting a series of broken fingers locked in a circle around one another. A lot of the people moving through the knuckles are Goliaths in particular, though there are some humans. And you see them moving, usually wearing some kind of dark veils, and they usually have items that obscure the face, obscure much of the form, but leave the hands exposed. And the most devout members of this Moronite faith, you can see many old scars, nicks, scratches, bumps, bruises, and places where the hands have not healed properly from much toil and atonement. The knuckles are definitely probably described as the gloomiest part of the town, where very little song or merriment comes from here. Over to the west, however, you see Red Rock, a district of the town that is like the city walls, built out of the infamous Greyhazian red granite. Very strong, sturdy, squat buildings that have been piled on top of each other to create multi-complex apartments here. These buildings usually rise just above the town wall, looking out towards the mountain. And this place is packed. There are lots of Goliaths, lots of humans moving back and forth through this district of the town. And you see, certainly working class people, but working class people who have a family-earned profession, and because of that, a degree of, what would I call it? Probably a degree of legitimacy within the town. These are tall Goliaths, bald heads, humongous tattoos, human men with black soot on their hands, wearing vest shirts and thick brown leather dungarees. These are mining men, and you can see it in the way that they act and behave. At this point in the day, it's really pretty quiet, as a lot of them will be out at the neighbouring quarries, working and toiling away. But there are still some people who've maybe got a shift off, and you see them gathering around local pie shops, stopping by at one or two of the taverns in the local area, and just are having a merry old day. You see lots of I think the other thing you see is you see mums corralling groups of 6-7 children. It's lively. There's music. You see even a few buskers on the streets, sawing away on violins or banging on drums for a few copper pieces. Definitely Red Rock is the liveliest part of the town. Then over to the far east is Gulf's Way. As you pass through this district of the town, you see a overwhelming majority of Genasi here in town, and whereas you don't see the temples of the Moronites, but you see shrines. And these shrines appear to depict equine figures, their lower halves wreathed in water, rising out of rivers and moving between trees. You see shrines depicting horned fish and little, knobbly little many-limbed men who look like a fusion between a goblin and a crab. A multitude of shrines here. You see old fishing gear, again some taverns here and there, some fishmongers, and this is the portion called Gulf's Way. A lot of the people you see here, there's actually even a small harbour here that appears to take people downstream to the east, likely towards the Gulf of Horns. So this is a community of fishermen and water workers and people who travel on the water to go down to Tir Caragris, possibly on a seasonal basis, to help out with working during summer, where the catching of fish is in most highest demand. Right now it is winter, so these streets are absolutely crammed with water genasi and humans playing games of cards on top of barrels in the streets, drinking merrily between each other and exchanging stories. You see old sailor-looking men, these genasi with kelp hair and scars and eye patches, sitting on top of boxes, talking to groups of little genasi kids who look up and are absolutely filled with wonder at tales of sea serpents and crab men. And then the final district is Riverside. Several bridges span a huge, fast-flowing river that separates the town of Greyhaze into its two halves. The river here is deep, and it is brown. Not brown with sewage, but with churned earth and the movement of great minerals, and it is fast-flowing. It's the kind of river that sincerely you would not want to get dunked into. You doubt that you would be able to surface safely from it. Fast-flowing, thick, dark water that you cannot see the bottom of, and towering bridges that span it, giving the impression that these bridges and I think you can probably actually, looking down, see the tops of parapets where previous bridges were built a little too low and have been swallowed by the flow of the river. It does bring to mind whether the source of water is always constantly rising in this town, or whether there is the equivalent of a dry season in Greyhaze, and what that would even look like for a place that has only known rainfall for 1,000 years. Regardless, the opposite side of the river is home to Riverside, a portion of the city that is effectively abandoned. There are many, many inns here, all of them boarded up. And so you pass by signs for the White Horse, the Red Lion, the Flowing Stream, the Horned Goblin, and all of them are boarded up. No one enters or steps inside, for these are inns. These are places where people would have paid to stay in years gone by, and now no one visits this town, not since the Strife of Spires. So the tourism industry is dead here. There are few nobles who could not pay to leave Greyhaze, and so there are fairly nice palazzos and estate houses with private gardens that sit abandoned and overgrown now. Probably passing through this part of it's the objectively nicest foundation for a part of the town, but as you pass through, on boarded windows you see paint smeared that just says "fuck off stripes." And I'll actually ask for you both, as you see this first sign of some kind of graffiti, to give me a history or an insight check. Insight into the emotion going on there, or history into what this graffiti means.
I got a 18 history.
18 history?
Dirty 20 insight.
Oh, this is beautiful. I got to talk about both things because you both succeeded. On a historical basis, Glaive, you've done research in your time in the library.
Did a lot of reading.
Yeah, you do a lot of reading. It's a wizard's library. It's a wizard's tower over in Telangol. So as you look at the term stripe written in, I think you notice, in red and blue paint on the wall, you look at this okay, what does stripe mean? Stripe is a term, a term of offense aimed towards members of the Balgardian Revolution. It's not a derogatory term, but it would be in our universe the equivalent of calling a cop pig. Where basically members of the revolutionary Balgardian front are known as stripes because of the striped adornments on their armor. So there appears to be in this town, despite the fact that it is, run by the Balgardian Revolution, effectively, there appears to be, looking at it, you're like, oh, okay, clearly there's some people who don't like them and are it's the kind of thing where if you turned around to, let's say, Captain Catawar and were fuck off stripe to him, you'd probably catch a gauntlet in the mouth.
Fair enough.
Then looking over to that insight check, it was a 20? Mm-hmm. Wonderful. You look at this marking on this, on the side of this abandoned inn called the Crouching Goblin, and you see fuck off stripe, and you're like, okay, there's an obvious surface level emotion here that you tap into. You're not tapping into the historical context. You're tapping purely into what does the graffiti mean? I am angry at the stripes, is what this yells at you straight from the get-go. But in addition to being a statement of anger, you look past that. Why would someone being protected by the Balgardian Revolution have a problem with the stripes, in quotes? And you think about it, this town is neutral in the conflict that is raging across Balgard at the moment. What has this town sacrificed to retain its neutrality? You think about how hard it was to gain entry to this town, that not everyone was allowed access in. So everyone's allowed in, and you remember Mayor Kane saying, oh, if you want to come back in, you need my permission or Captain Caterwall's. You imagine it's probably the same with the people living here. So other than those lads who go off to work down at Tir Caragris, or who go off into the quarries up around the spine to dig for granite, most people aren't allowed to leave the town. It basically, to keep the people safe, it is a state of curfew that has been imposed for the past 14 years. There are kids who have grown up in this town never seeing beyond the walls. And so you look at this fuck off Stripes and go, here's a situation where the Balgardian Revolution is clamping down hard to protect the people it cares about and retain their independence and their neutrality. But in the doing of that is harming those same people by restricting their freedom. And again, just looking around, a lot of abandoned buildings here. The only commerce that you can imagine being brought in would be from the mines and what else? The fishing that happens once a year, money being brought in. There's no nobles swinging around to drop off, humongous sums of cash on overpriced beer in the pub. This entire district is abandoned because of that now. And so you're looking around and going, oh, okay. Here's people who are struggling. They're struggling because of the strife of spy, but that is deflecting onto the people who are trying to keep them safe. It's a complicated situation here. And I think to add further complication to it, you see a scrawny 14-year-old Goliath kid who's your height already at his age but doesn't have the muscle mass, who's literally been caught red-handed with paint up to his elbows, being dragged by the ear by a Balgardian revolutionary officer who punches him in the gut on the way, keeling him over, and then keeps dragging him by the scruff of his shirt. Oh, you're going to interact? Okay. Yeah. Wonderful. Yeah, you see that punch and you're going to say, hey. Can I have... What charisma skill do you think would be applicable in this moment?
Oh, fuck. I believe I'm being intimidating. Unintentionally.
Wonderful. Give me an intimidation check, please.
6.
That is a 9. So not much stronger on this guy's charisma saving throw here. I think what I'll say is because this is a failure in this regard. What happens is this guard turns around to you and just sneers. This larger human man just looks and goes, "Mind your own business, clarity, scum." And as he's looking at you, you feel. You watch as this kid slips out from his grasp, rips a part of the scruff of his shirt off, and goes sprinting back towards the bridge, where you see another group of Goliath kids who are all beckoning over, and he goes, "Look, come on, guys!" And they all just run off together, and he just goes, "Oh, look what you've done!" And
did I do that?
And he runs up charging behind them with one hand on the pommel of his sword as he struggles to keep up with them. He goes charging after these graffito kids.
Don't hit kids.
You call out and then feel a presence in front of you.
Yeah, I know.
You turn around and see Captain Caterwall staring down at you.
He hit a kid.
I understand that this may not be part of how you do things over in Amygdalin.
Sorry, where does our location have to do anything with hitting children?
I would ask that you do not interfere with the workings of the Balgardian Revolution, Saint.
Okay,
That was an obstruction of justice.
Okay. I understand.
Thank you very much.
And he steps to the side and carries on following along. I think it's at this point that then we can enter the role play of this scene with a good understanding of there is poverty and there are problems here all throughout this town. And this procession of ill-fitted diplomats is working its way towards Gallows Rest, which is perhaps the most impressive part of this town. It is a honest-to-goodness castle. just a small, old world, probably built like 600, 700 years ago, like old world castle that just stands here. Proper parapet, a little wall around the outside, and a huge, I think probably actually, it looks like it's a little forest. So there is an element of like an actual wooded forest out the front where tall oak trees grow out of these admittedly poorly manicured lawns. This isn't the Oculum Sanctorum. This is a garden that has been left to grow a little bit wild because the townsfolk have more pressing matters to attend to. But I think you're probably making your way through that stretch of preserved woodland in the middle of the town as you make your way towards this impressive grey and red castle, Gallows Rest, in the middle of the of Riverside. What is it that you guys are doing and talking about as you make your way to Gallows Rest?
Well, I was curious to see if I'd met a Tamori before, because this woman is glowing.
Yeah, I think this is really
Shiny.
interesting because, okay, so there's something that we could do where we could do a history check to see whether you have read of or know of Tamori, and that would either be a history or an arcana, or we could do a luck check to see whether you've actually ever met a Tamori.
Let's do luck.
Let's do luck. That's just going to be a raw d20 roll.
13. That's very unlucky.
Yeah, God, it is, isn't it? I think, frankly, Tamori are very common in regions like Telangol. So, and in Amygdalin, where literally the Nerennial bombed the Black Palace like a couple of hundred years ago,
It wasn't you.
Yeah, I don't imagine that a lot of Tamori are allowed into Amygdalin unsupervised. I think that you've seen a Tamori on the front lines once or twice. Never had a conversation with one. And what you've seen are magical entities cresting a ridge to drop down onto a group of like Clarity footmen who are, again, peasants who've been given swords before detonating their true spell in a rather gory blaze, I should say. So you probably have a fairly, at this point, negative perception of Tamori, just for the fact you've not met any, and the times you've seen them have been purely in a martial warfare context.
I think Glaive is still watching like those children run off after you like stop them. I think Glaive is just watching them.
What did you think about that?
I have never seen a child before.
Sorry?
I had never seen children before now.
Like little, small, young things?
Yes.
Cool. You're weird. I like it.
I could say the same, I think, about you.
Yeah, I would agree.
I like your teeth.
Thank you. I can hook you up with my orthodecorist.
I don't know what that is.
Tooth jeweler.
Oh, that seems awfully specific.
Yeah, we have one.
That makes sense. I doubt you would need more than that.
They get about... Who are you?
My name is Glaive. I am the Tamori of the wizard Ethrad of the Court of Conjuration.
And why isn't the wizard here?
He didn't see fit to visit these talks personally, and he sent me in his stead.
And I imagine if you were sent, you are of the most importance to the Rostral Market Eggs.
I am considered of importance to the wizard Ethrad of the Court of Conjuration.
I'm in a similar vein.
You also know the wizard?
I am considered important by high officials in the church.
Ah,
and was
understood.
sent here.
Understood. Your name was...
Nephilim.
Nephilim.
You can call me Neph.
Neph. I do not believe there is a better way to shorten my name than already exists.
Glaive has presence.
Yes, I am here. That is correct.
I think this is gonna go well.
I would hope so.
Marvelous. Perfectly awkward conversation between the two of you, and yet the seeds of maybe a lasting peace are being sown here in this moment as some kind of divide is being bridged between Tamori and Hobgoblin, Saint and Servant.
I'm more than that.
You're a bad bitch.
Yeah.
We're all bad bitches here, except for the man who's about to start speaking. You gather at the foot of Gallows Rest, this impressive black and red granite forged stone castle. Arrow slits in the walls, no gate defending it, but like a wall with some parapets and watchtowers around the periphery, and like I can't get more specific. It's like a square ass fucking castle in here.
Lego brick looking.
Yeah, there's a small courtyard inside where you can see there's like a well, a place to tether some horses, like a little stables, just a stone cobbled courtyard that then ends at a series of stone steps that lead up to an impressive set of open oak wooden doors that open inwards, and you can see the glow of flame from within and the smell of spices and cooked meat kind of like issuing forth across the courtyard.
I can't wait to be inside.
Well, as you get to the entrance to Gallows Rest, the mayor turns around to you and goes, "Now, just a reminder, folks, this is Gallows Rest, the final resting place of that fabled rebellion of old, Regent Lord Gallowigson, may he rest in peace. I would ask you to be particularly careful of this site, as we here in Greyhaze hold it in some measure of reverence. Do not that you can desecrate the halls exactly, but don't do any vandalism here, please, otherwise I have to come down on you like a pile of bricks.
Who does he think we are?
Regardless, you're welcome here in town, in the castle whenever you so please. You can find myself, Neria, and the captain in our offices here. We'll be convening in the banquet hall on the top floor for any future meetings and discussions and the beginning of the peace talks. But for now, I figured that you folks could do with some time to yourselves to get acquainted with the people of Greyhaze, find a place to stay for the evening, and once you've got all those problems out of the way, sunset, back here, and we'll be hosting the conversations in the, again, top floor banquet hall. Any questions?
What's a Greyhaze kebab?
Greyhaze kebab is a pie between two bombs with pay wet on top.
Yeah.
And you see, I think you see Spindle kind of whispers in your ear and goes, "What's pay wet?"
Why don't you ask?
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor? And you see, you see Simon looks over and nods and goes, "I speak up, lad." He goes, "What's pay wet?" Oh, gods. Pay wet is the water from mushy peas. So it's mushy peas? No, it's the water from mushy peas, just the liquid. Are mushy peas supposed to have water? What is mushy
Everything
peas?
here has water, I think.
I suppose
Yeah,
so.
that's kind of redundant.
That sounds disgusting.
Yeah, I don't like the sound of
Rude.
that. If you're looking for a Greyhaze kebab, I'd recommend Red Rock for any of that.
I'll give it a go. Thank you.
Aye. Just a quick word of warning. We don't have many inns still open in town. I understand there might literally be the one at present. So if you do want to take residence in any of the abandoned states here and around in Riverside, please make your occupation of those buildings known to a member of the guard, or ideally to Captain Catterwall himself, so that we don't assume that we've got any ne'er-do-wells squatting in any of our buildings. Otherwise, free roam within the city, within the town is fully granted to you, so long as you obey by common Belgardian law. Any questions before I allow yourselves to go about your own activities?
No.
Fantastic stuff. Again, here at sunset for the beginning of the talks. Before then, if you have any questions, you can find me in my office inside Gallows Rest. Welcome you all to the town of Greyhaze. Enjoy yourselves, I suppose. And he turns without much ceremony and limps inside, followed by Elder Neria. I think you see Captain Catterwall stands with folded arms on the top step leading inside the castle, just to keep a sneering eye on everyone as you probably stand at this moment a little awkwardly here in the middle of the courtyard of Castle Gallows Rest.
So I suppose we should introduce ourselves to each other's retinue.
I think that would be wise.
I'm gonna address you as the spokesperson of this group, seeing as nobody else is kind of talkative.
You say that, and a Dwergar man with the craziest white beard and white hair walks up to you and goes, "You've been pleasant enough to this Tomori. I appreciate your charity, priest. But I'm the one in charge of the retinue of the Rostrum Arcadex. The name's Archmage Frillwid Firebeard."
Well, Archmage Firebeard, I am not a priest.
"No?
I am a saint.
Oh, we're in the company of saints, I see."
What do you mean by this, Tomori?
"This Tomori here. Doorstop, as it was." "That's an in-joke you won't understand, don't worry. I'm the one representing the Rostrum Arcadex." And you hear from behind him as then Adoration steps forward and goes, "Thank you, Frillwid. Perhaps the situation on our end is a little more complicated. Each member of the Rostrum Arcadex is representing their own faction within the wider Rostrum."
So there are more of your retinue on the way? I only count 3.
"We have not received word from the likes of the other schools. But I understand that their wizards have provided their full consent for us to organize their peace on their behalf."
Right.
"I am the Archmage, Adoration of Enchantment." And she offers a hand out to you.
I shake it.
She shakes your hand very delicately before taking her hand back. "And I apologize for my companion, the Archmage of Evocation. He can be, somewhat impatient."
I too want to get the peace talk started so we can lay down some rules for how the rest of this talk is gonna go.
"Quite so. Does anyone know what time it is?" And you see Ophanim steps forward and just goes, "I believe it is just now approaching midday." And you see everyone just kind of takes a moment. And you see Frillwid goes, "Right, so we've got till
Sunset.
And you see then Adoration goes, "So that's a good 6 hours before this talks begin." Well, I suppose it would be a good chance to get to know the people of Greyhaze, know who we are talking on behalf of, the common folk, as it were. And you see Frillwid just rolls his eyes and goes, "Right, aye, the common folk, sure."
I have a wonderful idea.
"Of course, by all means."
How about, since we're kind of odd numbers to pair up, how about you two and Ophanim go and have some time together, get to know people? I'll go out with Glaive here, and I'll take May, and you can take Mend, and we'll all just get to know each other before we start talking.
That sounds like a wonderful idea. I think that wonderful to maybe break down the barriers between our two. And you see Phil goes, "Who's the big fucking cow over there? Is that Ophanim?"
That is a saint, yes.
You're making...
Saint of renewal, second oldest among the saints. We hold him in quite high reverence.
Right. Making anything a saint these days. As he kind of leans over into adoration, whispers it loud enough that you can definitely hear, and Ophanim like blows out a little snort as he kind of like stares down. I think he leans forward and goes, "I don't much like that dwarf." And you see Frillot goes, "Dwergar, thank you. There is a difference." As those two just stare at each other.
I look forward, Firebeard, to you testing the almost infinite patience that resides between Ophanim and myself.
That's a Archmage Firebeard to you, priest. Right. Come on then, if we're heading Cal. And he starts heading off. And you see Adoration goes, I do apologise. He is from a different school to myself.
I would appreciate some unity from the other side of the table.
I will see what I can do.
Thank you.
A pleasure to meet you, Saint Ophanim. And Mend and Ophanim make their way over. You can see Mend just like looks at Crusader May, nods, and then shakes his head as he is now forced to stalk behind what is definitely the slightly spicier group over on that side, leaving Crusader May in attendance with Glaive, as well as the mage Spindle, and Focus Astrid, as you lot are all just left to yourselves.
Is there a
Oh,
reason?
and also the guardian angel Hmar Kasht.
The ever-watching eyeball that is not ominous in any way whatsoever.
Yeah, I forgot about it.
How can
Wonderful.
you forget? Yeah, I think Glaive looks at Neph and he's like, "Is there a reason why you singled me out?"
You seem pleasant to speak to.
Oh, I appreciate that.
And we have 6 hours to kill. And me and Ophanim basically ran out of conversation topics within 10 minutes because we don't really know each other that much.
You say this, and from on the other side of the walls where that group has left, you just hear, "I am not a cow." And movement of footsteps as they get further away.
I have never seen a creature quite like him before.
Really?
No.
Wow. We got all sorts
He's
of
not.
them.
He's not a cow.
He
Is that
is
rude?
a bull person. A
Alright.
cow is an animal.
Of course. What is...
Meaning, if you refer to him as a cow, you would be degrading him as to call him an animal,
Of
when
course.
in fact he is a minotaur,
Minotaur.
which is a type of
Understood.
person.
Understood. This place is so strange.
It
It is.
kind of reminds me of where I grew up, so...
It is strange to see people who are not Tamori doing the farming.
Interesting.
That's how it works here. There are no Tamori.
Not where I'm from. Everywhere I
strange.
go, regular folk do everything, not magically constructed folk.
I suppose that makes sense, but it is strange to see. I'm used to Tamori tending the fields like that.
I feel it rude to ask what you are, but I am overloaded with endless curiosity.
That's okay. I do not think it rude.
Well, that's good.
You-
What are you?
I'm a Tamori.
Could
know-
you define what that is for me?
It is a person created by the Wizard of Conjuration. We are beings of pure magic and spellcraft.
All of you? Created by one man?
Essentially, yes. He's very impressive.
To create such life, yeah. That is impressive.
And you are a...
I'm a hobgoblin. It's not very interesting. We're just sort of big goblins. Tall.
True.
You certainly are. So, did you want to get the kebab?
Do you eat?
I eat.
Let's do it.
As you're talking, you are approached by a sphere of feathers and flesh with four wings that
Angel.
project from it, wings extending back, and eyes at the crook joint of each wing all collapse in on you as it drinks in everything about your being. It is performing a perception check on you for an 18 to see if there's anything that you're hiding on your person. Is there anything that you're hiding on your person?
Not really. Glaive's
Wonderful.
Glaive's not really got anything to hide.
What I will say on this then is that unless you make a deception check, your entire inventory will be known to Khmar Khasht.
Yeah, I feel like the most interesting thing it's probably gonna see then is like Glaive's tattoo and stuff like that, but like which is technically a magic item that she has, but apart from that it's just the breastplate, the explorer's pack. I've got the longsword, but it's also a part of me. And yeah, I've not really got anything that interesting on me.
Wonderful.
My gold.
These eyes move around your body as it flaps its wings. And I think its gaze focuses on this magic tattoo. That's actually a good point. What does your magic tattoo look like and where does it manifest on Glaive's body?
I think it's sort of... I feel like it would take somebody actually looking for it to even see it. I think with Glaive's being so magical and ethereal in its appearance, I think it moves around her body when she needs it. So when it's kind of at neutral mode, it's just sort of this sort of faint, almost cloud in like the swirling magic of that makes up her being that sort of just like drifts in like wisps of like whiter kind of light to it that just sort of wisp around her kind of neutrally all the time. So it's not really coalesced anywhere in particular at the minute. It's
But it
just sort of
moves throughout the
these
body.
sort of swirling white kind of cloud in the magic of her.
In
essence.
particular, this strange, angelic, aberrant creature's gaze follows that trail of white magic as it moves its way through its body, through your body, before then stopping, almost realizing itself, and coalesces all four of its eyes directly to meet your gaze as it blinks wetly at you as it just goes.
Angel.
Definitely doesn't respond to that as it just keeps looking at you.
Does it speak?
Unclear. It does understand. I apologize for its observitude.
I suppose that's rather apt.
Kind of intrinsically linked to its existence, I suppose.
Say good afternoon.
It begins slowly rotating in the air as it just continues to stare at you.
It's quite a marvel.
It then breaks its eyes apart, almost moving like a squid now as it blows its wings forward and comes to a floating stop near Nephilim's shoulder.
Is that good?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
I think it just wanted a good look at you. We, in the Clarity, like to have all the information we can. So, a lot of us will suss you out until we're satisfied and then move on.
Okay. I hope that I can... I'm sorry, I'm new to a lot of this. I don't know what I hope.
I think you see Crusader May takes a step forward and goes, perhaps before we embark on the search for Greyhaze kebabs, we might be introduced to the other immediate members in your company, Glaive?
Of course, my apologies. This is Crusader May.
May you walk in its gaze.
Thank you. The pleasure to make your acquaintance.
She just nods curtly at you.
Might I introduce the Mage Spindle of the Court of Conjuration?
Use these little satyr guys. Goes, hi,
A mage.
yeah, not an archmage, not yet, but I'm working on it.
What can you do?
Oh, me? What can I do? Who, me?
Mages are magic, right?
Yeah, I'm working on my magic at the moment. I have, and you see he like kind of like reaches underneath like his shirt and pulls out a couple of different medallions. He goes, well, I've got a this one is a medallion of mage armor, so like if things get a bit crazy, I can look after myself. And this one is one of disguise self. And this is and he takes out like it looks like, God, you know those like really like 2000s emo like skeletal metal gloves that go over the top of your hands. He takes out one of those, but it's got like a little red crystal on the top. He goes, this lets me do like a little bit of evocation magic, some control over fire, and then I just got a couple of little spell scrolls here for just, you know, day-to-day uses, you know, your mage hand, your prestidigitation, that sort of thing.
Impressive.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so used to hanging around with archmages who look at that sort of stuff and turn their nose. It's so nice to. What can you do? Saint Neph, was it?
Yeah.
Saint Neph.
I can't move things with my mind or create fire or nothing, but I can heal and grant blessings, perform ceremonies.
Could you grant me a blessing? In the I guess in the means of, you know, us all getting along.
Bridging the gap.
Yeah, that's the one.
What kind of blessing would you like?
Anything that would maybe better at doing any wizardcraft sure would be much appreciated.
You know what? Here, take this. And she tenses and grows a feather from her wrist.
Whoa.
That comes out with a tiny bit of blood, and she blows it across to him as it lands somewhere that he's willing to accept it.
Yeah, just drops onto his shoulder and he's just blinking down at it a little bit. And goes, do you want that back?
No, you can keep that forever. For the next 10 minutes, you'll have a little guidance wherever you go.
Oh, gee, thanks. Thanks, Saint Neph.
Actually, you have to be near me. Within 30 feet of me, specifically.
30 feet? How do you guys keep a track of stuff like that?
Vibes.
Large tape measure.
It's the one thing that I
believe.
It's the one thing that's kind of holding me back from being an archmage. You need to know the distances of so many different spells, and it just doesn't stick in my head. I kind of wish I had a big book that had it all in, but, you know, sort of not allowed those.
What?
Kind of all the, you know, wizardry stuff. You only get a spell book when you become the wizard's apprentice, which we're working on.
Glaive just looks at you as if this is the most normal thing
But
ever.
you're wizards. Don't you have spell books?
No. I'm a mage, which is different from a wizard.
Right.
We're like wizards in training,
Oh, okay.
like hedge mages or of some kind. You know, we're not quite.
Yeah.
I mean, no one's on par with Wizard Edrad. You know, like that guy's out of this world good at spellcraft. I wish, but yeah.
I feel the same about the other saints. I've not been around nearly as long as any of them, so they can do some pretty miraculous things.
I bet. I mean, literally, you're saints.
My miracles are more day to day.
Well, I mean, my spellcraft's more day to day. So hey, we got that in common. That's good, right? Bridging the gap. Am I doing a good job, Glaive?
Glaive just gives him like a subtle thumbs up.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
And this is Astrid. She is a focus.
Astrid looks at you, nods, and says, "Hello.
Hi. What's the focus?
I help the mages."
Yeah. Okay. I respect that.
You don't get a lot else out of her. She looks at you. There's a very stern, no-nonsense kind of vibe to her. She just kind of looks at you up and down.
I turn to May. I thought you were quiet.
You see, make sure it's good. It's a good attitude to have.
Should we go get some food?
I think that's a good idea.
It is. I agree.
Wonderful. So you leave Fort. Well, not Fort, but you leave Gallows Rest behind, stepping beyond the perimeter walls of the castle back into this basically abandoned stretch of town that is Riverside. The river that flows through the middle of Greyhaze roars before you, bridges span across, and the entirety of Greyhaze lays before you at this moment. Which direction are you guys headed in?
I would say I would smell food on the wind, but it's wet.
Well, that sounds like what the food we are going to eat is also wet.
That is true.
That was my understanding.
Let's go. And I pull out my mat and hook my tail into May's arm.
I believe they said it was Red Rock.
Which
Mayor
I think, and
said-
I've turned
Oh,
that
wait,
upside down a few
Okay.
times.
Wait, and I think Glaive is gonna pull out her own like projection map.
Whoa, it is gaze. That is cool.
It's, I believe, and I think she uses like her fingers to like spin it around and like zoom in and like...
Yeah, it's fully like a touch screen holographic
Yeah.
map where you can like.
I believe it was this area here.
Y'all
So if
wizards.
we follow this path, take this bridge across the river, kind of back the way we came,
Yeah,
that should take us where we want to go.
let's go. And let's avoid the
Put
other
it back
group.
down, close it back down, and then put it back in a pipe.
That's some fancy shit.
So, now unified under a kind of under the common cause of seeking starch-filled food, this small example of the unity between the Rostrum Arcadex and the Clarity journey across the bridges and into Greyhaze proper, heading into Red Rock in search of Greyhaze kebab.
Yeah.
It's canon, baby.
Yeah.
And I think that unless anyone has anything to do as they head across into Red Rock, I think this is a fantastic place to end today's session.
lightning.
Oh, what?
I've been
think-
holding out on you.
Yeah, I think as we start to make our way, I think Glaive kind of lets Neph and May and everyone go a bit in front and decide to spindle, and just like, it was Red Rock that we needed to head to begin our search as well.
Right, for the Norenial safe house.
It might be wise to keep an eye out.
Too right. And he just nods and turns his gaze towards that portion of
Yeah.
the town.
As we're walking, as we pass a post, I flick a brooch that's in the shape of an eyeball on my lapel, and I make it blink once, and as it opens its eye again, I cast Disguise Self and remove all of the ostentatiousness from Neph's form and become much more of a neutral appearing individual, as to not walk into a town of poor folk and say, "Hey, look how much gold I'm wearing."
I think immediately May clocks what you're doing, and she is still wearing a suit of armor that is worth like. You could, if the pavilions in Riverside weren't run down, you could absolutely steal May's suit of armor, pry her out of it like she's some goddamn shrimp, sell that off and buy one of those pavilions there. Like a suit of plate armor, and she's got like full plate, is expensive. So I think she clocks what you're doing, nods, and is gonna takes out a hooded cloak and just tries as best as she can to obscure herself in it. definitely hiding like the top of her head, but her pauldrons, her shoulder pads are still visible through it, but the rest of the cloak conceals a little bit of what's going on there.
Excellent.
Astrid needs to make no changes.
Yeah.
This is very much her kind of environment. She just walks briskly through. Although I will say that the floating eyeball monster behind you, the angel, is a dead giveaway as it just...
Yeah. Can you turn invisible?
That's a good question. Can it turn invisible?
Or be smaller? I fear you are unsettling to those not of the clarity.
It is worth note that I do not believe it will be possible for me to conceal my being.
I think you look just fine.
I agree.
I don't think your look is offensive, but I do believe the amount of gold on my body is.
Oh, that was the intention.
Yeah.
I understand. I was simply thinking about the rarity of Tamori in this area.
We're gonna get stared at.
I believe we will.
I think, yeah, this Khmar Kasht looks at you and goes... And nothing happens.
Yeah, it was worth a shot. Sorry, Angel.
And just turns back and continues flowing behind you.
His name is Angel?
Is it sacrilege to tell?
I know it wouldn't be.
Okay.
It's not like Fae rules or demon rules or anything
Its
like that.
real name is Khmar, I think.
You see Khmar Kasht just like a little
Kasht.
looks over and just...
Sorry, it got said to me once. And I was kind of preoccupied.
Yeah, you got said you were once by a brain monster. It's like, I got other things to worry about, dog.
Khmar?
Khmar, Scott. Is it alright if I refer to it as Angel?
It's what I'm working off, but I don't think we'll get much of a response.
Understood.
I'll consult Ophanim about the topic.
I would not want to offend.
I don't think we're capable of offending it.
It just kind of looks at you again.
Yeah.
It's hard to get a read.
Wonderful. On that note, as maybe some of the boundaries between the Rostrum Arcadex and the Clarity are sort of waylaid by a sort of mutual misunderstanding of each other and the search for starchy food, this motley group of people from opposite sides of a terrible conflict make their way through the town of Greyhaze. And I think we zoom out a little bit to watch this dreary, rain-drenched town from far above. Perhaps not all is lost for the town of Greyhaze.
Jail, Devils Don't Exist is a podcast licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, Share-alike 4.0 international license. You've been listening to Molly Little as Glaive, Quinn Riley Rowe as St. Nephilim, and Sam Pay as all the devils that don't exist. Please like, share, and subscribe. For more content and a peek behind the scenes, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Tumblr, and BlueSky under @jailpod and @jailpod.bluesky.social. That is @jailpod, spelled GAOLPOD. Thank you for listening.